Hello there everybody and welcome to episode 19 of my advanced tutorial series for Dwarf Fortress. So for today I got two things on my mind that I want to achieve. For one, I want to establish our justice system and talk a little bit about it, what you need to do. And the other thing that I mean to do is I want to set up a archer squad and talk a little bit about how to get these guys going. So first off, I want to start with the preparations for today. So we're going to go on over and make these crossbows we require. So the thing about crossbows is I personally would say you can safely go for bone or wood and don't stop and play around with these other forms of crossbows. Out of one simple reason, the crossbow itself is ideally lightweight because this wouldn't slow down your soldier. The actual weight of the crossbow has no impact on the damage when you fire a crossbow bolt with it. None at all. So it really doesn't matter how heavy or light the crossbow is for the sakes of damage. Therefore, wood is a good material. When it comes down to crossbow bolts, the thing is not the same. With crossbow bolts, we're actually looking for high weight, high impact. Therefore, lightweight bolts are quite bad. The heavier they get, the more damage they do. We are going to go for bronze bolts here, and we're going to create ourselves a stockpile of 500 of these. So I finally also want to set up the jobs here at the smelter. So we're going to create bronze bars now permanently. So whenever we are below 100 bronze bars and we got more than 10 refined coal, they ought to get at it. You know, that's all we require here. We got a charcoal job here available. If we got enough logs, they go charcoaling. So we got that pretty well set up, except for the fact that we probably should work really fast on more wood, because this will obviously be something we will require, and we need a bowyer for that sake, because you know, without a bowyer this won't work. So we're going to use siltstone blocks. Here we go. And let's fire up that thing. So we're going to wait until this squad has been, or these items have been made. And in the meantime, we're going to get on over to our justice system. So I figured that I want to have the justice right there in the vicinity of my city core, you know. I feel like this is a nice spot to be at. Let's put some doors in there. And by the way, this is one thing that you can only do with the newest version of DF Hack. I can set up doors even though I don't have any in my stockpile. It will pick up the next one that's being made. This is such a fascinating concept. I love DF Hack for these things. Anywho, I'm digressing. So we're going to set up our dungeon, jail, however you want to call it, in this area, because I figured, you know, we got the pits already here. It's only a very fitting thing to have your justice in this area, I figured. So step one is we need a new place to live for our captain of the guard. This will also be his well, the place where he does the interrogations. So logistically, the office of the captain of the guard should be accessible. I'll leave it up to you where you want to put it. Here, I think it's a great place logistics wise, because it's a place where people will run past by. And check this out, we got here. That's the stuff I keep doing in between the episodes, but ever since DF Hack is now a thing, you know, I just want to show you how cool this is now. So we choose from items, selected no. So we're just placing down the beds here, because this is the last layer of the city, you know, and we're getting closer to the 200 people. And here you see those beds flagged with a capital P. That means we don't have these yet, but I can place them already. down as a job. And this is, in my opinion, such a huge step forward, you know. I have this all now designated, and I don't need to worry about it anymore. Therefore, you know, current version of DFHack, it's really amazing. I'm gonna do a tutorial video about that really soon as well. So we're just quickly finishing these, and this is wonderful, I think. And let's get back upstairs after that and continue our justice system. I'm sorry for being diverted, but you know, DFHack has removed a lot of these problems that have been plaguing me. For example, stuff like this. So we're setting up a flooring in here. So select up to 44 items. So here things are a little bit more complicated, you know. I have set up a filter that I only wanted to have siltstone blocks in between. So it only showed me these. Here, now we have the whole selection. So I want to have the rock salt blocks. Here we go. So I'm still needing to get used to it, but it's really good. So we put a bed in there. Wait a sec. Ah, of course I can't put anything on the these tiles. I'm stupid. So let's get on to the prisons. So when you press J, you get into the justice system. This screen where it's called Fortress Guard shows you how many cells are currently desired. So thing is, you know, 17 cells staffed out like that would be a lot of work. So I'm going to cut it short here for the sake of the tutorial series because, you know, usually I do staff these out completely because I'm a big fan of doing that. But here we're going to make one prison cell how I personally see prison cells made ideal. And the rest will be just a, well, a dormitory-like prison containment center. Okay, so let's see. First off, we require chains, and as if I remember correctly, the chains I have ordered were already taken through. Okay, so we're going to make chains, and most importantly, we are going to make them out of desirable metals. I think if I remember correctly, I had electrum here available for this fortress. Basically, the more valuable, the better, you know? So here we go. The more valuable, the better. When you want to build a prison, the more valuable your materials, the better. Because you put dwarves in there, and then they spend a lot of time there, and the better the environment, the happier the dwarf. That's the gist of it. So we're going to make ourselves some electrum. If I can, that is. But I have tetrahedrite. Oh no, I cannot make electrum. Oh, I'm so stupid. Sorry, guys. We need to make bronze. We don't have access to gold, of course. Wrong fortress. Brain. Wrong fortress. So we're going to go on here. I'm sorry for that. Okay, but that also means that we probably should be checking our resources down here. You know, we could use more and fresh tetrahedrite and cassiterite here, because obviously we are right now draining our resources, so we're going here downstairs and grab a few of these resources here and hope that we won't dig too deep, you know. We won't dig too deep. So let's go for exploratory digging here, you know. Doing these in variable shapes and sizes. I could do this uniformly, but I don't want to. Here, cassiterite, there we go. That's the stuff I've been talking about. Alright, wonderful. So this will get our stockpiles back into motion, you know. It's just important to have that. There we go. Some tetrahedrite, there's the copper, and cassiterite is the tin that we require. Okay, so let's get back to this place here. So furniture-wise, we're going to make now a regular a regular nobleman's suite, so to say. So dining hall, bedroom, and office, coupled with weapon racks, armor racks, the usual things, you know. So obviously we require unknown material weapon rack. Fun. Obviously we require these, so we're going to order some up here. Let's see what we got here in our stockpiles. We got some silver, copper, and bronze in larger amounts. So let's order a few of these. So let's go for a copper armor stand and a copper weapon stand. I'm stingy today. There we go. Make them the most important jobs so they get done in a acceptable time. And now, so let's go for one really desirable prison cell first. So I'm going to go crazy here. I'm going to go for a nice flooring as well. Let's see, can't we say blocks, boulders, bars are also allowed here? So I just told my my new building manager that I also want to use metals, you know, why not? Metals are quite good. So we're going to use Bilon here, just as an example. I'm trying to make this prison cell as valuable as possible, in case you didn't notice it already. You could go here for with methods to your own liking. One might even go as far as bringing up a gold flooring, or, you know, it's up to you. It's up to you how you want to limit or not limit these. So we found new ores here. That's brilliant. That's exactly what I had in mind. Okay, so our captain of the guard, that's the first thing that we need, will be the person who will also do the interrogations. Sadly, in this game, we cannot see the social skills of the person in question, so it's a little bit... It's one of these things where I really hope that the game will change in future, because, you know, the better the social skills of the captain of the guard, the better, but we cannot say that as of yet. Whatever, I just wanted to mention that. The tactical skills are actually less important than the interrogational skills, but... Anywho, we're doing this like that, because the beautiful thing about Dwarf Fortress is learning by doing. If you let the people interrogate often, they get good at interrogating. Good, so the rest of these things will get done over the course of time. Let's see if my stone stockpiles are all okay. Yeah, that's looking brilliant. So, probably the only thing that I should think about, since we do happen to have a lot of requests at all times, put up some extra stoneworkers workshops here to make sure that everything goes as intended. Okay, so prison cell. First off, of course, it needs a door. No prison cell without a door. Then we need to assign this zone-wise as the dungeon, because this is also necessary. Then we put a chain into the middle of the room. So choose from items, yes. So here you really want to go for the most valuable chain available. You might be even wanting to decorate it here at the jeweler. You could do that. Basically, the more valuable the chain, the better. This is going to be the thing where your dwarf will be chained on. And as a matter of fact, if it's beautiful, he might be actually happy by just looking at that chain. Step 2, we put a bed in there. Step 3, we put a chair and a table in there. So here we go. We have now the basics down. The other things are now stockpile zones. One for food, so we're going to go for prepared meals. One for booze. Here we go. And one for mugs, so the poor guy doesn't need to hang his noggin into the barrel, you know. So finished goods, everything allowed, and this is how it should look like. Alrighty, so this is, well, practically as good as it gets. You could now even add in, that's one thing I didn't know about, a small extra meeting area in here, and designate that as a temple to no specific deity. This way, you even have a zone where the person can pray at. Pretty nifty, eh? So, our captain of the guard, though, will want to have a certain number of ropes in the fortress in total, because, you know, the larger the fortress, the more prison space your captain of the guard will want to have. So that's the gist of it. Therefore, we're going to expand the dungeon zone just like that, and I'm just going to slam in here rope and chain until my dude is finally satisfied with that, you know. That's the only thing that we're going to go for here. Of course, it ain't ideal, you know, but you could use this layout here and, well, how to put it, optimize it, you know. You could make the same setup that we have here, but you could double dip into these storage facilities, for example, by putting them in here. And that's one thing that I really want to showcase here. When you go into the stockpiles, this is the one for food, press the paintbrush, and now you can set that up wherever you want. These are linked. This is all one stockpile, you know? Food stockpile number 35, number 35, number 35, number 35. So this way you can bring up these stockpiles without having to configure them every single bloody time, you know. I just leave that here, and this is all it needs for your captain of the guard to imprison people, interrogate people, and be happy about having a prison available. We don't need more than that. We can now create a new military squad, the captain of the guard squad. These people are basically the policemen in your fortress, and they will also deal out punishment if necessary. Therefore, be careful with these. The captain here will always be your captain of the guard, the leader of that squad. It's basically his personal and private squad. You don't need to go too crazy on that one, though. You know, it is not that necessary. And here, by the way, this happens when you have these generic temples. People are swarming in there. I don't like it. I personally don't like to use it, but I think it is totally worth being mentioned. Okay. So let's see how yesterday's project, so to say. So remember the Temple for the Communion of the Earth. We have now a total worth of 2,000 in there. So we're going to give them the priest they were asking for. Let's see the place here. Well, they're not at the guild hall worth yet. So we're going to give them some statuary here. Slam in some bauxite statues of stuff. And that should do the trick. Never forget the things that you have signed petitions for, because at the end of the day, they want to have that. So what do we have here? My dude is not doing his job. He requires yarn cloth. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that this is a problem for our fledgling industry here. So let's see, we got Hill Titan leather, yak leather, and we only got leathers. So let's see, do I have the job to shear animals here? So shear animal, yes, okay. Weave yarn into cloth, we cannot do that because we don't have any yarn thread. So, well, sadly, our yak calves that we got are not animals that you can shear. Obviously, my fortress doesn't... Well, alright, we do have these here, alright. So let's see what happens. Yeah, well, we ain't got the necessary materials there. That's a shame. That's, by the way, the reason why you always want to have as many different fabrics as possible in your fortress, because sometimes these wackinesses happen And then it's a tad bit sad to have to lose your folks like that, you know? Never been a big fan of that. And another Forgotten Beast has come. So this one is tapering around in my current layer. So that's something that we need to take seriously. So the thing is, this one has webs. And if it has webs, it is trouble. Big time trouble. So the first thing that we do here is we're going to shut down the door here. It's no longer passable. And ironically, that's currently all you need to do to shut Forgotten Beasts from entering your fortress. So here we go. Let's let the hunter in before he dies. And currently, you know, that's one of the situations where I would say the caverns are no longer open for business. Webbing monsters have that really, really nasty skill to make a dwarf immobile and kill him afterwards. That's really, really bad. Okay, so we got the justice stuff down. There's really currently not that much that I could add because we don't have any open cases, and I can't show you the interrogation stuff without any open cases. This will work. It's really important that you have the amount of cages that your dude is asking for, out of the simple reason he will otherwise be unhappy if you don't, you know? Your captain of the guard just wants the certain amount of prison space available. It's really important for him, okay? Otherwise he's not gonna be happy. So let's bring up the new barracks. It's we're going to go now for a new squad, and we're going to go for an archer squad here now. So the archer squad will receive a new leader, and we're going to keep the archer squad this time a tad bit smaller than my other squads. Not particularly because I think that they are bad or anything, but because I don't want to craft that much gear. So here we're going to require the leather gear. You could, of course, staff them out in a way without requiring leather. No problem. You could also give them metal armor. It doesn't really bother that much, but the thing is, give me a sec. The thing is that leather gear is a lot less heavy than metal gear, obviously, and therefore, you know, it's the same thing as usual, where you want to have as low weight gear as possible, and one might argue that metal gear is much more protective than leather gear, but you should know one thing. Actually, your dudes are not supposed to be in melee at all. If your MARKSDWARVES are in melee, you already have done something wrong. And therefore, I really don't see any good reason to staff them out with anything else than leather gear. My personal opinion. So when you're constructing your barracks for the MARKSDWARVES, there's one thing that's really important to note. Make sure you got room below. I'm going to show you guys why in a sec. So next thing, every MARKSDWARVE requires an archery target. Archery targets are made out of boulders, and therefore they're dirty cheap. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 9. Oh, well, bummer. So let's expand that one more day, but not for today. The next thing we're doing is we're carving a tunnel behind, or we're digging a channel behind every one of these targets. Because we do that because of one really, really wacky interaction of Dwarf Fortress. You know, whenever ammo smacks into a wall, it gets destroyed. When ammo smacks into a wall and can't fall down an entire Z level, it gets preservated. It's just like that. And I really don't know why, okay? I really don't know why. It is just as it is. So That's why we dig that tunnel behind that thing. Some people also like to dig a tunnel in front of that too, because this way, when your archers are still super bad, they can actually sometimes not hit the target at all. So that's one step. The next step is we want to have inside that barracks a large stockpile zone exclusively for ammo, but without any bins. That's a pretty weird thing, but it it works quite well that way. So let's see. I hope I don't have any random other stockpile hogging ammo from us. Let's see, ammo is here still allowed. Let's forbid that really quickly. This is the only other generalized stockpile that I got. This should work now. Good, so now we got all that set up. Let's draw a barracks on top of that. Or, wait a sec, no. A archery range. So let's see if that works now out as intended. And we're assigning that to the tempted cudgels. There we go. So firing direction is really important. We're firing into that direction, otherwise things won't work out. And now they're assigned to constant training. You know the drill already. And let's see how things work out for them. So, typical situation, we got to tell them to replace their clothing with uniforms. I'm not sure if this is really necessary for MARKSDWARVES, but it does resolve any bugs that you got with boots. There's a recurring phenomenon regarding boots being wonky. Anywho, so I'm going to mark the stones here for the junk pile. Let's see, do I actually have a junk pile currently? Yes, I do. Ah, it's back there. Brilliant. That's pretty good, actually. And yeah, now they go and shoot. As you see there, dudes are shooting. And oh boy, yeah, right. We need to do something about that. So as you see here, these are forbidden. Therefore, claim used ammunition, but forbid used ammunition during sieges. That should be the setting that we're looking for. So this way, when they're shooting during sieges, they're not going to grab their ammo right away again. This is quite important because this can turn into quite a problem in the long run. But yeah, now you got your MARKSDWARVES training. That's all it takes for now. So the thing is, to utilize them well, we do need to take extra action there. The thing about MARKSDWARVES is quite simple. When they fight, they shoot, but at the same time, they move forward towards their target. And that means, as soon as they are close enough to their target, they're going to go into melee. Why? I really got no freaking clue. So doors are not being made anymore because our siltstone is no longer sufficient. So I already prepared sort of a siltstone pit for that, Whenever I use a certain material a lot in my fortresses, this always happens sooner or later. You see, this is my bay for siltstone. It's empty. So we're creating new stuff here. Okay, good friends, I'd say this is a pretty good spot to leave it at. We're going to go and put those MARKSDWARVES to some use later down the road, of course, but at the end of the day, we still have a pretty long way ahead of us in making them useful. The gist of it is, with the MARKSDWARVES, you have to create an environment where they cannot hurt themselves, but I'm going to get on over that later in another episode. For now, I'm quite happy to say we got a spot where the MARKSDWARVES can train at without any problems. They can pick up their ammo here, so stuff should actually work quite well in that regard. That's where I'll leave you guys for today. I hope you enjoyed. We're going to continue next episode. I think I'm going to feature a Forgotten Beast trap, because currently we have now the problem with that Forgotten Beast. It should be sealing off my caves for good, because you know this is one of those buggers which just kills everything which tries to 1v1 them, and sometimes you just don't want to fight. So that's just just to give you a idea in advance where next episode will be headed towards to. So I don't know where my MARKSDWARVES keep doodling around. But, well. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, quivers. Oh, man. I'm such a slob. Quivers. Yeah, you need to make quivers for your MARKSDWARVES. I knew that I was doing something wrong there, but luckily I remembered by the end of this episode. So, of course, no quiver, no fun, guys. I'm terribly sorry about that. That was a major oversight. But, yeah, I hope these guys will come on back here and train at some point later. But we saw that they trained, so it does work. It's just a question of time how often they do it. Alrighty, so leave me your questions down below. I love hearing from you folks, that's one thing for sure. And we are going to go, like I said, next time over that wonderful Forgotten Beast trap, which allows you to take care of monsters that you can't kill currently. That being said, leave a thumbs up on that video if you enjoyed. Consider subscribing. I'd be deeply delighted if you did so. That's a really huge help for the channel, and it doesn't cost you that much, doesn't it? If you hit the bell thing after subscribing, you stay notified with all the new updates that I post. And check out the playlist links in the description box. There's more Dwarf Fortress tutorial series, small Dwarf Fortress tutorials, and yeah, Dwarf Fortress, guys. So, have a wonderful day, thanks for watching yet again, and see you next time.